The painting that I'm lending, that Kelly and I are lending, is a painting done by Rollin back in the late 1940s, I believe, and it was done of the river bottom from Friant Road. I started to acquire his pieces of art in my 20s. It was I am a relative, a nephew of Rollin, and his wife Glenna is my father's sister. So I grew up watching Rollin paint, and at the time, Rollin and Glenna made gifts of artwork and his paintings to nephews and nieces when they got married. So when I got married in my 20s, that was the first time I was able to get a piece, and then over the years bought more pieces. I can't say that there is one that holds more significance. They're all pretty special because they all signify something. They were bought over the years, so they show different kinds of styles and different locations, and each one has its own memory, for me anyway, and my family. Well, for one thing, I know the love of the art form that Rollin had, and knowing him the way I have and watching him over the years as I grew up, I know how much of him is in every painting. And I know that day that he was doing that painting, he would rather be doing that than anything else in the entire world. I appreciate his creativity. I appreciate his use of color, and especially what he does with light. I'm honored, very honored. When my cousin Joel called me and asked me if I would offer or allow the university to show one of our paintings, I was quite honored, and we had many to pick from, and there could have been 2 or 3 or 4 that could have been used for this show, but we had to pick one, and this was the one that we picked. So, well, it was picked by Joel himself, so I think he picked it to balance out the show as far as styles and that sort of thing, and styles and locations. Rollin painted all over the world, mostly in California, obviously, but he has paintings from all over the world over many, many decades, and I think Joel's idea was to balance the show out with respect to locales and styles. One of the sweetest, nicest gentlemen that I ever knew. He always had a kind word for me. He had a kind word for everybody. And was a gentle, just a gentle soul. And like I said, he would rather be behind his easel painting than I think doing anything else, except loving his kids. He was a wonderful father and loved his kids dearly, and of course my aunt Glenna. One thing I do remember, and I always treasure these memories, is at family functions. You could always count on Rollin to be in a corner of the room somewhere with a sketch pad, sketching anything from kids playing games to the adults talking to the dinner table to whatnot. And I know a lot of those sketches are available or have been compiled by the family and are priceless. I think what he's left behind is a real beauty. Is at least for the works that he's done here in the San Joaquin Valley, especially in the Fresno area. a time before the area was very developed, a time when, a simpler time, a time when he has captured a time before massive large-scale development in the Fresno area, and some of the beauty of the agriculture, some of the beauty of everything from a canal to a barn to a farmhouse to a picket fence. You know, it was a simpler, prettier time. He was able to see a beauty in things that those of us who are not artists, you know, miss. I mean, later on in his life, one day I came home and he was in my front yard of my house, because we have a big magnolia tree, and the magnolia tree had bloomed and there were, you know, white flowers, and I'm sure I noticed it, but I didn't really take that long of a look at it. But what he saw was something much different, and he was able to capture those bright white flowers among the dark green foliage of the magnolia tree. And it turned out to be quite a beautiful painting.